Well, goodness, it is just cold.
It
Kind of just like yesterday, but Thomas, this morning I noticed when I walked out the door, I could see my own breath and I had to think,
That's too
wait,
much
is
for
it
me.
May or is it February?
Feels a bit more like February or March weather at best, but the sunshine is definitely making a difference this morning. We've gone from about 33 to 35 degrees already back to 39 as of 7 o'clock this morning. So that sunshine, which there is a ton of, make sure to not forget your sunglasses on your way to work this morning. That sunshine is going to help us out big time through these early morning hours. So freeze warnings in effect just for another hour. There's probably a couple locations that are still lagging behind, either at or just below the freezing mark. But now that we are getting a little bit past sunrise, almost 2 hours past sunrise, most everybody's warming up pretty quickly. In Deer Park, you are up by a factor of 10 degrees in the past hour. That's all the sunshine, baby. 31 in St. Mary's as one of the final spots that are still below freezing as of the current observations. But our next storm system is still parked off to our west. We'll be tracking that for tomorrow. Otherwise, we get a day with nothing but sunshine today. We'll have low 60s for highs, but the cooler weather is still set to continue for the rest of this week. We're tracking not only those lows still in the 30s, but perhaps a chance for wintry precipitation by Friday morning. We'll show you how close of a call and how low some of our snow levels might be dropping to, all coming up in a few minutes.
New overnight, Airway Heights fire crews battled an apartment fire off of Highway 2. Crim 2's Malia Kamal is live there this morning with the latest. Good morning, Malia. What information can you share?
Good morning, Channing. Now, I was just talking to the fire chief, and they are going to be on the scene for a while. It's because they've actually had flare-ups to this structure right behind me. Let's take a look at yesterday's video. Now, this is a building that was an old motel that was transformed into apartment units, but it has been abandoned for the last 3 to 4 months, and officials say it's a known squatter location. Now, I spoke to Chief Deputy Andre Stevens, who says that they haven't been able to make full entry into the structure because it just isn't stable. So they don't know if anyone was in the structure at the time when the building started to burn. He also mentions that there was a concern that the fire could spread to the nearby businesses.
The building is probably going to be a total loss, but I really want to focus on the positive, though. We have, on the other side of this building, we have a strip mall that has Domino's Pizza and a couple of other businesses. And so our focus was trying to make sure that those buildings were not affected.
Now, Deputy Stevens tells me that, again, because they've had flare-ups, they're going to be monitoring this scene every 30 minutes for the next couple hours. Now, the cause of the fire is still under investigation. Of course, we will give you all the details as we learn them. Live in Airway Heights, Malia Kamal, Crim 2 News.
We have an update this morning on a situation that happened at Lewis and Clark High School 1 week ago. The school sent a note to parents saying it's working with students to set expectations and increase accountability through the discipline process.
Yeah, that's right. So this communication comes on the heels of an incident last week where police were called in for what they're calling an unruly mob. Now, 2 students are charged with criminal mischief and harassment. The email parents received Monday night says the school's administrative team will focus on reteaching expectations to students and significantly increasing accountability through the student discipline process. The letter says the pandemic introduced numerous challenges for many students and during the process of transitioning back to school, and it's been difficult. The district responded to Crim 2. They say each incident is different. Police say the one caught on cell phone video last week involved upwards of 70 students in the hallways. Spokane police responded to calls for help and is continuing its investigation. Well, there's been a sharp spike in the number of gun deaths in the U.S., and a new CDC study finds the increases coincide with the pandemic.
So this new report shows gun violence is skyrocketing all across the United States. Homicides from guns rose 35% from 2019 to 2020. The largest increase in gun violence victims are young black men, and low-income communities are impacted the most. Now, the new CDC study also looked at firearm suicide rates and found that they remain historically high in 2020, with increases in low-income and rural areas. The CDC is recommending training more outreach workers who can identify and mediate community conflicts and who offer education about firearm storage. The agency also highlighted the need for housing assistance, child care subsidies, and livable wages. However, gun control advocates want to see stronger laws.
A lot of the studies that we have done and that others have done have shown that gun safety laws work and they reduce gun deaths.
The CDC says it will continue to deliver data on what many see as a growing public health crisis.
It's time now for your Morning Rush. More news in less time. The city of Spokane will receive nearly $5.6 million to support its rental assistance program. City Council approved the funding on Monday night. The application process for the new funds will be announced soon on the city's website. The Carl Maxey Center and Spokane Neighborhood Action Partners will continue accepting applications for the funds. Amazon fired 2 organizers connected to the warehouse that recently voted to unionize in New York. One of the employees says he was fired for not meeting productivity goals. The other says he was let go after going on COVID care leave. Both employees had been doing work for the Amazon labor union. Amazon says both cases are unrelated to each other. Another Starbucks in Washington is choosing to unionize. A Bellingham Starbucks location will begin the unionization process. Last week, Starbucks announced a wave of benefits for its employees, but excluded union members. The union group filed a petition with the National Labor Relations Board. 14 Senate Democrats sent a letter to Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz asking the company to recognize the union. And today, the Healing Hooves goats are returning to Spokane to help reduce wildfires. Take a look at video from last year. 200 goats will make their first stop at Meadow Glen Park today. They'll manage weeds and then also decrease the amount of standing vegetation and pine seedlings. The goats will move to Minnehaha Park tomorrow and then High Drive Park next week. And that's a look at your morning rush. And speaking of wildfires, wildfire season is right around the corner.
But you can actually start taking steps right now to protect your home and your community from those wildfires. The Wildfire Ready Neighbors program from Washington DNR gives homeowners resources to protect themselves and their land from wildfires. Last year, nearly 700 Spokane residents signed up for the program. Now, in its second year, the program is building on that momentum by expanding to other high-risk communities in Spokane. Commissioner of Public Lands Hillary Franz helped kick off the relaunch of the program in Spokane County yesterday afternoon.
Too often, we wait until wildfires at our door when we ask for help or we try to take steps to protect ourselves. Every single home in Washington State and Spokane County can take action right now today to get ready for this fire season and the next fire season.
To join Wildfire Ready Neighbors and get a free customized plan, you can text the word READY to the number 509-448-2000. At no cost, residents can also request a consultation. A wildfire expert will then visit their property and help them develop a detailed action plan for wildfire preparedness. Our Boomtown series continues all this week. One of the state's largest transportation projects is the North Spokane Corridor, otherwise known as the North-South Freeway. We've seen the construction and pieces of the project come together, but what will it look like once it's actually done? And speaking of that, when does WashDOT actually expect to finish the massive project? We take a closer look coming up after the break.
And here's the one thing you need to know about today's weather. After a cold start to this morning, we are warming up quickly thanks to all the sunshine, and our afternoon temperatures should actually top out in the 60s in Spokane.
Time for your wake-up call. It is National Nurses Week, so we want to say a big thank you to the nurses in the Inland Northwest and around the world. Send in a shout out to the nurses making a difference in your life. We've received so many, so you could just see there are just so many people to thank of people making a difference in our community. So you can keep sending in your shout outs to 509-448-2000 or using the hashtag UpWithCreme on social media.
Well, taking a live look outside on this Wednesday morning, we say good morning to you, Inland Northwest. Let us know where you're watching from, and go ahead, grab another cup of coffee, maybe make it two. It's a chilly one out there.